Do you remember when a trip to the mall wasn't complete without a stop at Sears? The excitement of flipping through the wish book, dreaming about that perfect toy or shiny new appliance. Sears wasn't just a store, it was a part of American life.
Sears, where America shops.
In this video, we'll take a trip back to the golden days of Sears, when it was the heart of every shopping trip, before it slowly faded away. Get ready to relive the memories, the traditions, and the magic of what Sears meant to so many. Long before we ever stepped into a Sears store, many of us first experienced its magic through its iconic catalog. Thick and glossy, it arrived in the mail like clockwork, and when it did, everything else seemed to stop. For families across America, this wasn't just a catalog, it was an event. As kids, we'd sprawl out on the living room floor, flipping through the pages, eyes wide with excitement. We'd grab a pen and start circling the toys, the bikes, the latest gadgets, imagining what it would be like to have them. And then there was the Christmas wish book. If the regular catalog was exciting, the wish book was pure magic. Packed with the hottest toys of the season, it was a childhood ritual to flip through it, making lists, dreaming big. Even if we didn't get everything we wanted, just looking at the pages brought so much joy. But Sears didn't just sell toys. The catalog had everything: clothing, appliances, furniture, even tools. It was all there, ready to be ordered with just a phone call or a mail-in form. For families in small towns where big department stores were miles away, the Sears catalog wasn't just convenient, it was essential. It brought the department store experience right to your doorstep, making it easier than ever to furnish a home, upgrade a wardrobe, or even pick out the perfect holiday gift without ever leaving the house. And for some, it was even more than that. It was a piece of home. Many of us can still remember flipping through an old, worn-out catalog years after it had been replaced, just to relive those memories. Even today, there are folks who've held on to their old Sears catalogs, tucked away in attics and basements, a reminder of a time when shopping wasn't just about buying things, but about dreaming. If you still have one of those old catalogs, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see how many of us kept a little piece of that history. From the 1960s through the 1980s, Sears wasn't just a store, it was a destination. Whether you were heading to the mall for back-to-school shopping, picking up a new appliance, or just browsing on a Saturday afternoon, Sears had something for everyone. Walking through those big glass doors, you were met with bright lights, endless shelves stocked with everything you could need, and the warm, buttery smell of fresh popcorn drifting from the snack stand. Browsing through the clothing racks, you'd find Toughskins jeans and Sears' own Robux brand, a must-have for kids and teens. Parents could browse the latest furniture, pick out a new set of curtains, or find the perfect outfit for any occasion, all under one roof. And Sears wasn't just about variety. It was about trusted brands that became a part of everyday life. From Kenmore to Craftsman, some of the most reliable names in American homes came from Sears, and I'll be talking more about them later in this video. For many of us, a trip to Sears wasn't complete without a stop at the electronics section, one of the favorite spots in the store. The shelves were lined with televisions, cameras, stereos, and the latest gadgets. If you were a kid, you probably made a beeline for the toy section, an absolute wonderland of model trains, bicycles, action figures, and board games. By the late 70s and early 80s, you'd even find brand new Atari consoles, sparking a video game craze that changed entertainment forever. The aisles were packed with the latest must-have toys, and there was nothing quite like seeing them in person, imagining which one might come home with you. Beyond the shopping itself, Sears was a key part of the mall experience. It anchored countless shopping centers across the country, drawing in crowds and making malls the go-to place for families and friends. Whether you were grabbing lunch in the food court, catching a movie, or just hanging out, a stop at Sears often felt like part of the routine. For so many of us, Sears was more than just a store. It was woven into the fabric of our lives. And as malls hit their peak popularity, Sears stood right at the center of it all. Sears was a name people trusted for quality, and its products became staples in American homes. If you had a Kenmore appliance, a Craftsman tool, or a DieHard battery, you knew you were getting something built to last. For generations, Kenmore was the go-to brand for home appliances. If you grew up in the 60s, 80s, chances are your family had a Kenmore refrigerator or a washer and dryer set that lasted for decades. These machines were built tough. Many kept running for 20, 30, even 40 years. And Kenmore vacuum cleaners? Practically indestructible. It wasn't just a brand. It was a household staple, a name synonymous with reliability. If you had a dad or grandpa who liked to tinker in the garage, chances are you saw that familiar red Craftsman toolbox. These weren't just tools. They were built to last. For many, Craftsman was the only brand worth owning. And even today, plenty of those old tools are still sitting in garages, ready for another project. And let's be honest, how many of you still have a Craftsman tool in your garage today? It's also worth mentioning a few more well-known Sears brands. DieHard batteries were built to last, giving drivers peace of mind even in the harshest winters, while Road Handler tires offered durability and reliability for countless road trips. For millions of American families, Sears was the place where quality and reliability came standard. Sears Auto Center was a trusted destination for everything car-related, from new tires to repairs and maintenance. Whether you needed an oil change, a battery replacement, or a full tune-up, Sears had you covered with quality service at affordable prices. For decades, Sears Auto Centers were a go-to spot for car maintenance and repairs. Drivers trusted them for reliable service and quality products to keep their vehicles running smoothly. By the 1970s and 1980s, Sears was at its peak. With stores anchoring malls across the country, it was a familiar and trusted presence in American life, a store generations had grown up with. At its peak, Sears operated over 3,000 stores across the United States, making it one of the largest retailers in the country. But change was coming. The rise of big-box chains like Walmart and Target offered lower prices and more aggressive expansion. Meanwhile, specialty stores like Best Buy and Home Depot focused on specific markets, chipping away at Sears' once unshakable position. Shopping habits evolved, with more shoppers turning to discount chains and specialty retailers, slowly shifting away from the department store experience Sears had long dominated. Sears had been a retail giant for over a century, but even the most iconic names aren't immune to change. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, shifting consumer habits and internal missteps took their toll. The merger with Kmart in 2005, intended to strengthen both brands, only accelerated their decline. Stores began closing, and the Sears experience that so many had grown up with started to disappear. For those who had spent years shopping at Sears, or even worked there, watching its downfall was tough. This was more than just another store closing. It was the end of a piece of American life. Once bustling Sears locations became empty shells of what they once were. Even as its presence faded, the memories remained. Flipping through the wish book, picking out back-to-school shoes, walking into the tool department with Dad, or simply wandering the aisles, knowing Sears would always be there. Until one day, it wasn't. Sears is no longer the retail giant it once was, but its impact on American shopping culture remains undeniable. The brand shaped how people shopped for generations, from the catalog era to the heyday of malls. While nearly all of its stores have disappeared, Sears' legacy lives on in the memories of those who grew up with it. Some of its most iconic brands, like Kenmore and Craftsman, continue under new ownership, and a handful of Sears locations still remain. But more than anything, Sears represents a time when shopping was more than just a transaction. It was an experience, a routine, and, for many, a cherished part of everyday life. And that's the story of Sears, a store that was simply part of our lives. Did you grow up shopping at Sears? Do you still have something from there in your home? I'd love to hear your memories in the comments. If you enjoy stories like this, make sure to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.